Hello, so I wanted to show you my little journaling evolution. I have been journaling since I was cognitive, I think. I've always had little journals and diaries, scrapbooks, art journals, smashbooks, like pretty much any type of journaling you can think of. I have probably at least tried it. Whenever I was pulling out all of our Christmas stuff in the attic, I found a giant box filled with all of my journals. There actually are some that I'm missing still, but I don't have my journals from when I was like super little, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I really wish I did because I feel like those would be super fun to look back on, but I don't. So anyways, let's get into my journaling evolution. So the first book is actually my first scrapbook. Now, I don't really remember what birthday I was documenting or like how old I was, but I do remember this day. I went to Lou's with my friends and we got Hannah Montana makeovers, and I clearly did not get very far into this scrapbook considering I only did a few pages, and I was definitely just doing the scrapbook because my mom was scrapbooking at the time. But now, I'm pretty sure this next one is a few years later, and this is more when I got into art journaling. And I actually remember I did most of this art journal in the car on the way to California on a road trip. I had set up my watercolors and all my little paints and stuff in the car. Somehow my parents agreed to let me do this even though I was little and definitely could have just spilt my paint everywhere, but for some reason they let me, and I completed most of this journal on that trip, I'm pretty sure. At this time, I was really loving mixed media and practicing with different types of mediums. In this journal, I used a lot of things for the first time, if that makes sense. Like oil pastels was my first time using them. Different types of paints I tried in here, like all of it I just tried in this journal. So also at this time, I got really into YouTube and I discovered the world of like journaling YouTube. I was super obsessed with watching art journaling videos and different methods and techniques that people were using in their journals, which also led me to my scrapbook YouTube obsession. This started when I was around like probably 10, 11, and I became obsessed with scrapbooking. So at the time that I got into scrapbooking YouTube, the big thing at the time was smashbooking, which is kind of similar to how people junk journal now. It's honestly a pretty similar concept, but I did mostly use mine as a scrapbook, and I documented my Christmas that year. And I'm pretty sure I did at least like 10 of these smashbooks at the time, but I cannot find the rest of them. The only one that I have is this Christmas one. I really want to find the rest of my journals. Oh my gosh. And simultaneously, while I was smashbooking and stuff, I believe it was 2013, I was also super into sketchbooking, or keeping a sketchbook, I guess. At this time, I got super into Prismacolored pencils and learning how to shade and do all of that. So in this sketchbook, I was pretty much just solely practicing with those. And I also at the time got really into doing Zentangles. Basically any art trend that was trending in 2013, I at least attempted. And honestly, looking back at these sketchbooks really makes me want to keep one again because I forgot how fun it is to use the colored pencils and everything, and I have really not been doing that lately. Now, moving on to 2015, I was 15 at the time, and I had kind of got back into scrapbooking, but this time I combined it with the more watercolor mixed media-ish type style. I documented one vacation in this journal, and like I always did, I of course didn't finish this journal because when did I? Then in 2016, I kept a very loose style of this like scrapbook journal situation. I honestly mostly journaled in this one, and this one is really weird to look back on because I was just starting high school, I'm pretty sure, or in my second year of high school, and so it was just like a really odd time, you know, for as it is for most people. And in 2017, I kept another journal, and this one was a lot of writing, mixed media. It was kind of all over the place, and honestly I don't really have much to say about this one. Then kind of jumping ahead to 2019, it was my senior year of high school. This one's pretty fun to look back on because I feel like I really got into more scrapbooking at this time, or at least I was like heading in that direction. It's also cool to look back on this one because at the time I really wanted to have my own sticker collection and sticker line and create my own, and I also really wanted an ethical clothing line, which I'm kind of doing now, which is cool. Definitely on a really small scale, smaller than I probably imagined, but it's happening nonetheless, so that's cool. Now, this was probably my most angsty journal, so I'm probably gonna blur out some things because I was going through it at the time. Transitioning from high school to adulthood, like graduating high school and stuff, was super weird for me, as it is for everybody. Like, none of these are original experiences, but I don't want people reading certain things I say in it because Oh my gosh. Now moving on to 2020s. Now obviously it was a very chaotic year for me, as it was for everybody probably. I was in college full-time at this time. I was also working practically full-time at Target, and being an essential worker during that time was crazy. Like whenever everyone was going insane about toilet paper and everybody was panic buying and everything, it was a crazy time. It was obviously also a crazy time politically, and so there was a lot going on with that, and it is very crazy to think that we have the same president again. Moving on. Anyways, I loved keeping the style of journal so much that I carried it on into the next year. Now, this journal was half planner, bullet journal, half scrapbook, but about 3/4 of the way through I decided to completely change it to a scrapbook. I kind of realized that having my planner and journaling and everything along with my scrapbook just like wasn't what I wanted anymore. So for my next journal I decided it was just going to be a scrapbook, and I was going to keep a planner separate. Now just something to keep in mind, I was also keeping a written journal these past few years. I feel like there's no point of even showing those because it's all just writing and they're pretty boring to look at, and I don't really want people reading those. So now I have a full flip through already on my channel of this journal. It's my 2024 scrapbook. It's actually just from the first half of 2024, and I have a second one that I completed for the second half of 2024. Now I am really emotionally connected to this journal. I feel like I really found my style and really discovered what I like and don't like in this scrapbook. I know that sounds kind of like silly to say about scrapbooking, but I think it's interesting to see the older I get, the more my actual personal style changes, and I think it's reflected in my scrapbooks and journals as well as they get more and more consistent, if that makes sense. I was also really proud of this 2024 journal and the one before that because I actually completed them to the end, and that was obviously something I was not very good at doing, so finishing a journal felt really good. Now, like I said, I had a scrapbook for the second half of 2024, and that is this one. I do want to do a full in-depth flip through of this journal because I love it. Now, I am absolutely obsessed with my current journal setup. So currently I have my little scrapbook that I'm keeping for 2025, and I did a video setting this one up, but I post TikToks and stuff about this one all the time. Next, this is my little Louise Carmen Paper Republic Midori Traveler's Notebook dupe journal. I got this for $30 off of Etsy, and it is beautiful and gorgeous and amazing, and I've even got it engraved with my initials here. I have some charms on the front that I've had for years. And what's really cool about this one, so it's a refillable journal, so once I fill up all of these little journals that are in here, I can just easily replace them because they're on the little elastic band. So in here I have my spending tracker, my daily planner, my video planner, and my commonplace notebook, and then the back just has a place for stickers and pens and whatnot. So yes, those are my journals, and that is my little journaling evolution of how I got here. I know for a fact I am missing quite a few scrapbooks and journals, and I'm going to find them one day, and when I do I will do a part 2 because I feel like I have a memory of what those ones looked like and they were so cute, and so I want to show you one day, but we'll get there. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video and it kind of gave you more insight as to who I am. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, love you, bye.